Hey everyone, welcome to another build video. In this one I want to go over my Hunter Solar 3.0 build for PvP specifically here in Crucible. I'm actually finally doing a build for this. I never really did one for Void, so I finally decided to go ahead and show you my Solar build that I love so much. This does take into consideration a lot of the airborne changes and a lot of the resilience changes, hence why you don't see me running Stompies. So I just wanted to make that clear. Without further ado, let's go right on into it. So first off, on my Gunslinger, I run Blade Barrage. I think it's the best out of all three of these, mainly because it's great for you can clear a lot of people in a room. You can take out bubbles. You can take out people in wells. You can take down other supers. It's just so versatile. Versus these two, you can take down bubbles with, I think, Marksman. You can't with 6-shooter, so it would be a waste. But you can't kill anybody outside of taking down the bubbles. So with Blade Barrage, you can take down the bubble and kill the people inside, so I think this is a lot better. As for our abilities, I run Gambler's Dodge. I would say that Marksman's also very interchangeable with this, but I would not use Acrobat's Dodge because Acrobat's Dodge takes too long to cool down. It has a base cooldown of 1 minute and 22 seconds. That is insane in PvP, so I stick with Gambler's. Marksman's is also really good as well because it has much smaller base cooldown, but I think Gamblers is good enough, and I also like getting my melee back, so that's awesome. Jump, I run Strafe. Interchangeable with triple jump based on preference, but I think that Strafe is much better for speed and maneuverability, so that's why I run Strafe. Just don't use high jump. That's pretty much all that I have to say about that. As for our knife or melee, I run proximity explosive knives. Pretty much the way that these work is you throw it, sticks to surfaces, and explodes when they get near it. It's fun, it works, and plays pretty well. So I really like proximities. Lightweights are also really nice, but there's other ways of getting radiance with this build, so I don't really stick to these. I'm gonna keep running explosive or proximities, and you can still treat it like normal throwing knives, so that's fun. As for our grenade, trip mines. If I was using something that gave me radiance or something, like if I was using lightweights or something like that, then I'd probably switch to like healing grenades. But because I'm using Worm Husk and Classy Restoration, I don't think there's actually a need to use healing nades. So trip mines it is. Trip mines are really good. It's going to cost Scorched. That is very important for the build. So that is why I'm running trip mines. Also have Knock them down. This is going to increase our Blade Barrage's projectiles. It makes more of them, so it just buffs our super. It also means that when we're radiant, when I kill something with my throwing knife, it fully refunds my melee energy, which is awesome. But you really won't see that much in PvP. So, and then on your mark, so pretty much every precision final blow, it's going to grant us handling and reload and our nearby allies, which is awesome, and that stacks up to 3 times. But the main bread and butter with this build, in my opinion, is these fragments. There's a few that are really good, and there's one that is pretty interchangeable, but I mainly picked it for a bonus to a stat, so we'll get into that in a second. We're going to start with Ember of Torches. This is the main bread and butter right here. So pretty much every single powered melee hit against enemies in Crucible. I know it says combatants, but this does work, I promise you. You will get radiance, and that's like 15 seconds of a 10% damage boost. That is juice. So definitely Ember of Torches for this. That pairs really well with Ember of Solace and Ember of Searing. But Ember of Solace, this is going to increase that radiance, or that radiant duration, and also our classy restoration durations. It's a lot of Asians. Anyway, definitely a must, just for that increased duration. But if you feel like you don't need it, this is interchangeable. I don't think it is interchangeable, but I just wanted to let that be known. As for our other fragment, Ember of Searing, so every single time I defeat a scorched target, which I will get from my grenade, that is going to grant melee energy. The more melee energy I get, the more radiance I get. You can see where this falls, how it works. And obviously running Ember of Singeing. So if I hit someone and I scorch them with my trip mine, or whatever grenade I so choose, they get scorched. I get more ability energy. And if I kill them, I get melee energy. It fits all together really nicely. So those are the main 4 ones that I run. And the final one being Ember of Wonder. This one is kind of mid, and I'm never actually going to see the rapidly defeating actually work. But I do get plus 10 to resilience, which is why I picked it. So there is that. But that is really it for the actual abilities themselves. when talking about our stats, I wanted to go over these really quick, and then we'll go over armor, and then different things that you can pair with it. So, as for stats, I feel like mobility should be at minimum an 8 or a 9, but I think that 10 is definitely the best for this. 10 is just basically means we're gonna get our speed up to 40% faster, which is very nice, and you're going to get that dodge back even quicker. I don't know the actual cooldown, so if I knew, I would tell you. So, but yeah, you definitely want to have as high mobility as you can on a hunter. As for resilience, I think that 5 to 6, maybe if you can get it higher, you could maybe even go 7 if you want it, or maybe even to 10 if you really feel you need it because of the flinch changes. But I think that 6 to 7, maybe even 5 range is good enough resilience to where you're still going to be a little tanky, but see a lot of, you're not going to see as much flinch, but it's still going to be there. Don't get me wrong. But I just wanted to let that be known. Recovery. I have 7. It could be even low. I could have it even lower if I wanted to, just like build completely into resilience and mobility. But I think that recovery is still a little bit important. So I have mine set here at 7. Realistically, what I would have wanted was lower discipline for something in these two, but that's kind of not how it works. So, or I don't know if it's not really how it works. So I just want to let that be known. Um, but yeah, so if you want to sacrifice a little bit more recovery for resilience, that's definitely fine. And I could see where you're doing that, why you're doing that. If I could, I would put like 23 points, make this like 5, and put that into like here and get like 9, something like that. But this is just how my armor stats work. So kind of is what it is. But my discipline's at 9, like I said. This is somewhat important because that's going to get my trip mine made back quicker, which is going to cause more scorches, which is going to cause more cooldowns, which kind of important, but it really does not need to be at 9. Realistically, I would put that into strength. I'd rather have 10 strength to get my melee back as quickly as possible, but I have discipline, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's kind of how it is. I think intellect is useless. It's not really that important. I'm gonna be honest. Like having it high can be useful if you want to try to get like 2 supers a match, but that barely happens unless you frag out. I feel like at this point, so I feel like this is kind of mid, and strength is very good as well. But I do think that overall, like higher discipline can be better than higher strength, but for my build, for the build's sake, I would kind of like a little bit more strength, but that's really all there is to it when it comes to my stats. As for our exotic armor piece, I'm running Wormhusk Crown, so pretty much every single time I dodge, I get more health, like I get a small health and shield bump, and that also stacks really well with Classy Restoration, so I get healed just by dodging, and I get my dodge really quick, so that's why I can sacrifice a little bit of recovery, so that's really nice there. This is also interchangeable if you don't really like Wormhusk Crown. Maybe something like the Foe Tracer would be good. If I did run Foe Tracer, I would still have 100, then 7, and then 9. If I masterworked it, I could get that to 10. So that's cool, I guess. But I like Wormhusk Crown overall. As for mods on this, I really like Kinetic Siphon. So rapid kinetic weapon final blows create orbs of power, and grabbing orbs of power, I get another damage boost. So that's really why I like Kinetic Siphon. Harmonic Siphon is also good. So if you're using like solar weapons, rapid final blows with those also makes orbs of power, which you can pick up. So that's awesome. I run resilience mods. That's really not that important, but Radiant Light plus 20 to strength, very juice, very pog, very good. So very, very much necessary in my opinion. So that's awesome. As for our gloves here, I have some stuff turned off. I could probably, if I wanted to sacrifice a little bit more stuff, I could like change some things, but I'm still working on my stuff with this. But I really like fastball and shotgun decks. That gives me 3 slots still. So if I wanted to sacrifice a little bit of resilience and put on some more recovery or something, if I feel like I need 8 or something, I can easily do it. I have the stuff to do it. Or bump this up to 68, though I don't really see a point in doing that because I don't really gain anything. So that's why it is at like that. As for this, unflinching hand cannon aim, very pog, very juice. Really like that. basically, I'm just going to get even more unflinching on top of the resilience that I run. And if my hand cannon has a lot of stability, like my Austringer or something like that, I'm going to I'm going to have little to no flinch. It's going to be great. So there is that. And running, of course, taking charge. So every single time I pick up a charge of light, or pick up an orb, I become charged with light, which stacks into our high energy fire. And I can get orbs pretty easily from supers, harmonic siphon, people popping their supers around me, things like that. So that's why I run that. And as for our boots here, I have Powerful Friends. I think Powerful Friends is very, very good and kind of necessary because it gives you plus 20 to your mobility. So just for juicing up your stats purposes, this is very necessary and very needed in my opinion. And I also like Shotgun Holster just so I don't have to really focus on that as much. You could probably interchange that with something else, but scavs don't really work that well anymore, so I really like Shotgun Holster. You could run like Invigorations and Absolutions as well, but for the time being, I like this, how it is. And this is where the main juice comes in. This is our cloak here. Cloak's very juice. This is where the big cheese comes, in my opinion. Classy Restoration. So every single time I dodge, I'm going to get Restoration. Like we all know, everybody does it. It's pretty obvious that everyone does it, so it is very much necessary to keep this on. So like I said, this stacks with Warm Husk, so I dodge, get Classy Restoration. That's going to heal me to full on top of the boost that I got from Warm Husk. Keeps you alive. It's really good. And if you pair that with like Utility Kickstart, your class ability energy, when it's fully expended, you gain bonus class energy. It's insane. So I dodge, it's all gone. I get a small boost because of this. Like that means you can get your dodge back insanely quick with this build. But that's really it when it comes to the build, guys. There's a lot of different things that you can run with this. Like I said, you could run Foe Tracers if you want. Proximity, if you're using like these proximity knives like I am, you can run things like Caliban's Hand and make them do Scorching. Then you can switch to a Healing Grenade as well. Like there's a ton of different things that you can do with this build. And it's very, very versatile. If you like weighted knives, you can run things like Athros's Embrace. There's like a ton, like I said, there's a ton of different things that you can do with this build depending on your playstyle and things that you like to use. A lot of people like to use Foe Tracer because Foe Tracer gives you plus 20 to your in-air accuracy, so that's really good. Dragon Shadow, a lot of people will use because that's going to give you the bonus by buffing your speed and handling while also reloading your guns. Like there's tons of different things that you can run to make this build your own. And but yeah, that's really all I had for today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed today's build video. If you did, please consider a like and subscription. It'll really help the channel grow. If you have any comments you wanted to add, please leave them in the comment section below. And let me know what you guys think about the build, things that I should change, things I should consider. I'd really like to hear your thoughts. And maybe consider going over to my Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/itsaaronwl. I stream live every single day there. But that's pretty much all I have, and see ya.